Welcome back. So we're talking about PHP syntax right now. Basically, PHP is enveloped around these delimiters. These delimiters, PHP. Your PHP code is enveloped, should be enveloped between these delimiters. The open delimiter is less than question mark PHP, right? And the closing delimiter is what? Question mark greater than. Everything that comes in between these open and close delimiters, okay? Markers, I can call them markers, you can call them PHP markers, all right? Everything that comes in between this open marker, PHP marker, and close PHP marker should be a valid PHP code. Otherwise, you get an error message. I hope you get that. Say, for instance, if you just type, let's see, just type, this is PHP codes. Let's see if it's going to give us the right thing now. Enclosing that between PHP markers, you get an error message. Do you get that? And that is because we are no longer dealing with HTML now. In HTML, you can decide to put this straight without a tag. It will not give you an error. Let's put outside this. It won't give you an error. It will, HTML does not have errors now. HTML doesn't have errors. Everything goes. It will display it, even though it may not display it the way you want it. It will display it. But the minute you put that, the minute you enter into your PHP markers, the open and close PHP delimiters, you must observe PHP syntax. Okay, so what are the PHP syntax? First of all, PHP, all your PHP codes must be between your open PHP delimiter and your close PHP delimiter. However, there are cases where you may not need to add the close PHP delimiters. You may choose not to. If the entire file is strictly PHP, if it's strictly PHP, in other words, if you're not going to include any HTML codes here, if you're not going to include any JavaScript, you're not going to include any CSS, only PHP, you may not need to close your PHP delimiters. Okay. However, if you will be including PHP, you can include PHP anywhere. You can include it before the HTML. You can include it inside the head. You can include it inside the body. You can include it outside the body. It can be anywhere in your file. Do you understand? It can be anywhere in your file. It doesn't matter. So if you be including it more or less like a mixed mode, then you must have the open and close PHP delimiter. Is that okay? Now, all PHP statements must, please think of the word must end with a semicolon. All PHP statements must end with a semicolon. Let's come here and take a look at some of these basic syntax for HTML. So that's what we have. That's what I've already explained. Your delimiters, open and close, and then your PHP codes goes in between your PHP markers. Okay. Now, if you are saving your PHP file, the extension is what? .php. We've already seen that already. The example we did. Okay. So let's take our first PHP text now, which is our echo. The first PHP our first PHP statement we're going to look at is the echo statement. Echo. Echo is used to render a a text or any content on your browser. It can render a text, a string. A string is a sequence of characters enclosed within a pair of quotation marks, either single or double. So you can say, echo, this is my first PHP statement. And it must end with a semicolon. Must. If you don't end your statement with semicolon, you are going to get errors. You're going to get errors. So it could either be single, it could be double. Let's say another one, echo. This is another statement. Okay, so you can also have comments by using double slash for single line comments. Okay, this is a single line comment. This is a single line comment. Now let me put another single line comment here. Echo statements can be used to display strings. Okay, let's see this now. We'll save and check it out on the browser. Okay, this is my first PHP statement. This is another statement. Do you notice one thing? That both statements are displayed on the same line next to each other. And what that simply tells you is that by default, echo statements are inline in nature. Echo statements, they are inline in nature. So one echo, two echoes, will just be displaying one after the other. So you can force it to the next line by using your BR tag. So that takes us to the next statement. You can echo statements can also be used to render HTML tags. HTML tags. Okay. Again, the tags must be in strings. It can be strings. It has to be in a string. So I can say echo BR. Echo this new line is displayed on a this statement is displayed on a new line. This statement is displayed on a new line because of the preceding BR tag. Now, I want you to take note of how this statement is going to be displayed. You see a BR inside this. I intended it to be part of this statement. But PHP will take it as a tag and put this next word tag on the next line. Let's watch. I'm saving this and I refresh. You see how this is displayed now? If you go back to our code, before line 12, I echoed a BR tag. What does this BR tag do? What does BR do? It goes to the next line, right? So it's as if you are typing a BR tag in your HTML. It goes to the next line. And if you include a BR inside a string, it will render it as a tag, and anything that follows it goes to the next line too. So I intended this BR to be a part of the string, okay? And so what about the web server saw it as a tag, and executed as a tag, and so sent the word tag to the next line, as you can see here. So what will I have done to make this tag remain on the same line? I will enclose the tag inside another pair of quotation mark, this time single. Now you can have nested quotation marks, but the order must be maintained. The outer, my outer quotation line here is quotation mark is double, right? So I cannot have another double quotation mark inside it. Instead, I can have a single quotation mark, right? So let's see. I put one here and I put another one here. Okay, so it will see this as part of the statement now. Save all, and if you refresh, okay, it actually took it to a different line. See on this different line. Okay, we will take a look at how to look at tags, how to display tags more later on. Okay, obviously this one isn't working. All right, so when we come back in our next session, we will see more of PHP syntax in our next session.